All right, so moving on to the next guy, Tyler Scott, wide receiver from Cincinnati. Go get him, Doc Brown. 5'9" and 5/8 inches tall, 177 pounds, 9-inch hands. He ran the 40 in 4.4 seconds. He had a 1 point,
which was for some disappointing.
Yeah,
even though it's really fast.
It was for disappointing. Well, he thought he was going to break Chris Johnson's combine
not
record.
Even close.
No. And he had a 1.51 split, so a pretty good 10-yard split. Broad jump of about 132 inches.
That is impressive.
Yes.
11 feet 1 inch.
Yeah, 39.5-inch vertical. Last year in Cincinnati, in 12 games, 54 receptions, 899 yards receiving, and 9 touchdowns. So that's a lot of touchdowns for a little guy, right?
A lot of TDs.
He's a little guy.
That's not you? No, it's you.
He is a little guy. He definitely is a little
Akron guy.
Yeah, Akron guy, little guy, fast. So even though he ran a 4.44, like he's a fast receiver, and you know he's a former junior Olympic sprinter, former high school running back as well. To me, when I watched him, I know Jared, when you said you saw him, like you liked his route running. I thought his routes could use a little bit of work. I thought they were just okay, but he's really smooth. You know, he's smooth. Good bursts, makes some really nice cuts, really good bursts. I mean, obviously you see with his vertical and his broad jump. I mean, I can't say again, he's 5'10", he had 11 foot, 1 inch broad jump. That's so impressive to me.
I actually liked his routes. I thought he played with good leverage and had some crispness in and out of those breaks.
I thought they're okay.
I gave him an 8.
I thought they were
pretty high.
I thought they were pretty clean. Yeah,
but I mean, I thought for being a 2-year starter, I thought like it could be something that could be.
Yeah, I just thought he used his head really well and his hands really well.
He did use his head well. I thought, that was good.
Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
I thought he tracks the ball well. I think he made good adjustments. I thought he can go up and get the ball well as well. I thought he was really good with the ball in his hands. Like his run after the catch, I thought he was really good there. I thought he was able to start and stop. His stop ability was pretty impressive. He rounds his routes a little bit. Maybe that's what kind of got me on his routes. Like he rounded them a little bit too much sometimes for me. His strength isn't really there. He's not really hard to bring down because he's smaller. He had some drops because he only has those 9-inch hands, which can be a concern. His catch radius isn't very big. His small frame, so like defensive backs can easily manipulate where they want to go with him at times. He lined up pretty much just on the outside at Cincinnati. That's pretty much it. But again, he's real fast. To me, his ceiling
2% in the slot.
Yeah,
I think in 2020, 2021 and 2022. So
his ceiling, and this is not a bad thing to me, is like a really good number 2. That's his ceiling to me, like a really good number 2 in the NFL, which in the right offense could be a fantasy football asset, like a low end wide receiver 2, a high end wide receiver 3.
I mean, I liked a lot of what you said. I think, he was a smaller guy, but I thought he was able to extend, make catches above his head, get up and get some things. So maybe played a little bit taller than his 5'9" frame would suggest on some occasions. So, I don't think that's going to be his game always, but I think it's nice to know if some guys that are 5'9", you throw it over their head, there's not a chance in hell that they're going to catch the ball. Him, I think he can actually get up and get it.
I agree.
His game is speed and it's quickness, and I think he's good after the catch. I there's some stuff to like about this guy. I wasn't sure.
Definitely some stuff.
Going into it, just looking at measurables and kind of the numbers as far as what he produced this year, I was like, I don't know what what am I getting myself into here. But when you see him on tape, he's explosive, he's crisp. I thought he was nice in and out of breaks. He has some burst. Suddenness is there, and just speed. You can't teach the kind of speed that he has.
I thought the quarterback stunk this year.
Quarterback right. And the more and more I watched, I was like, 899 yards with this guy isn't too bad. You know what I mean?
Missing him.
And obviously, unfortunately, he didn't have a chance to shine with Desmond Ridder because Alec Pierce was there.
Right.
I liked Scott too. I came away really impressed. Now, granted, it's not a great class, and we haven't done guys we've talked about and whatnot, but adding Jordan Addison to the guys that we're covering this week, he's my wide receiver 4 right now. So I mean, he's done decent as far as my score goes. He got a 72.6. The only real concerns I had were you mentioned the physicality. I think his release off the line could use a little bit of work.
I forgot to mention that, but I have the same note. Yep.
Yeah, I think he could use a little bit of work there. But I was pleasantly surprised because typically with speed guys, I'm not expecting them to have very good ball skills, and I thought his ball skills were pretty good.
Yeah.
So I thought he caught away from his body real well. And he is a player that I could see being an efficient play. Like you mentioned, a wide receiver 2 on a team. Like I think that's in the realm of possibility. Like I think he's a really solid player.
Me too, and I think he does enough of the other things well besides his speed that he's not going to be pigeonholed into just a deep threat. Like he's not a go long guy. I think he does all this other stuff well enough that a team's going to see that and they're going to use him on some intermediate stuff. And
Tyler Lockett.
Let's get him the ball. Yeah. Let's get him the ball. Well, Tyler Lockett's a catch and fall type of guy. I think he can actually do a little bit after the catch. So I didn't want to make that kind of comp, even though it's size comparable and kind of speed comparable.
He'd be a really good fit. Like obviously the Browns didn't trade for Elijah Moore. He'd been a really good fit offset Amari Cooper. I think he'd be a very good fit like to offset like Mike Williams with the Chargers. I think he'd be a really good fit to offset Treylon Burks with Tennessee. Like that's the kind of receiver he is because he's smooth. He can go up and get the ball. Like I came away pretty impressed with the player.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I liked the opportunity there.
Yeah, I was surprised that I liked him as much as I did.
I just hate how small he is and like his frame also. It's like he's not long. Like he's real compact and
his catch radius is not.
Yeah,
it's not.
Even though he can go up and get the ball, his catch radius, it's like you have to knock him because of his frame. It's tough.
But
I liked him a lot.
In today's NFL, that kind of player can work. Like he's not under that threshold. Being 5'10", 177 pounds, probably add a little bit more weight to that. Not too much because it probably hurt him. But being 5'10", it's not like he's like super small. He's lean. Yeah. But in today's NFL, in a passing NFL, this kind of player can work.
Okay.
And more, again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, he really works the mold of a fantasy football receiver. And that's where I get excited.
Yeah. I like him. I had a 73.6 on him, Garrett.
Okay, so we're only a point away.
Yeah.
So we're real close overall.